Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Doon Kennedy Hobart Aquatic Centre. I'm Nick Martin, and joining me in the booth here for this bronze medal game, Australia versus NZ, the Trans-Tasman Battle. I've got Stuart Parkinson in here.
Well, it's very nice for you to join me here in the commentary box. It's certainly your pleasure to be here with me today, Nico. And joining us as well is the man himself, David, Coach Lambert. How are you, Dave?
I'm very well. It's time to rumble in the jungle, but it's a pool jungle.
It's fantastic to get the three perspectives in the commentary booth today. We've got the coach, the player, and the cripple. So it's going to do a good job of really seeing this game from three views.
I thought you were going to say genius then for a second. I was getting all excited and then you just deflated my balloon. Anyway, we got 20 seconds counting down. The under-19 Aussie men's versus the under-19 New Zealanders playing off for the bronze medal on this final day of the fourth CMAS Age Group Underwater Hockey World Championships. It's going to be a serious game. 5 seconds to go. Anyone's to win here, Nico.
Absolutely, Stu. In the round robin, these teams met very early on in Game 3 with the Kiwis getting up 2-1, and that was back on the first day of the tournament, which seems like a year ago, Dave.
It certainly does. This game says the Australians are pressing, and I think that was number 8, nicknamed Wombat, having a nice drive up there through the sides, and looking forward to this game. And I expect both teams have either grown through the tournament and will come out on top or not.
Funny old thing, that is definitely what happens in the final. As you can see, the Aussies driving the right-hand far side of the court. We've got a couple of extra cameras that you might notice. This one's actually a corner camera, so you can see the goal there. This one's another little sort of very side of the court camera as the buzzer goes. The Kiwis are getting an infringement against them for a stick foul. So the Australians will get an advantage puck in their attacking quarter here, Nico.
Yeah, it's French referee Alex there signalling on the far side that one. The Australians getting this early free puck up in the Kiwi defensive zone. Interesting to see there, Dave. Both teams looking to play the space early on, as we've seen both Australia and New Zealand throwing a good switch. Yeah,
it is interesting to see, because I expect the New Zealanders to play sort of their traditional box, looking for quick opens to move it sideways, and I hope the Australians are willing to move it wide constantly for the whole game and use all that space, Nick.
As you can see, the Kiwis going on a nice little run, counter-attack style, through the centre corridor here in the middle of the pool. Aussies getting the puck back and looking like they were going to come wide, and then saying, no, we're going to go the other way. So over the far side of the court they go. As we look at the live chat, Rob Tinkler saying, here we go, Bledisloe puck. I like that, Rob, very nice. Sergio Jimenez saying, go New Zealand. Hey, Sergio, I think you mean Australia there, mate. Just you might have put a typo on the live chat there. Alexander Duff saying, come on, New Zealand, as the Aussies put a lot of pressure on the Kiwis. The buzzer goes. It's a stick infringement against Australia here, Nico.
Yeah, good, clean, crisp signalling there. We know I like a good, clean, crisp signal from Alex, the French referee, and I would expect nothing less than protocol from the French. So as we see, the dunk camera goes back in, and NZ moving that puck across there and flicking around. Nice wide play, but the Australian halfback Sam Lowry there jumping in to put some pressure on it and switching it straight back the other way there, Dave.
Yeah, he switched it around, but sort of left his outside players there looking for a pass because they had some clean space in there. But he's taken to the other side as we're back in the middle of the pool. And action's, it's sort of one-sided to say. The Australians are putting some good early pressure on the New Zealand back line, the Stuart.
Yeah, Aussies getting pulled up here for obstruction, a bit of excessive hugging going down early on in this game. And I agree with you, Dave. At the moment, the Australians certainly are dictating the play a little bit more than the Kiwis. Kiwis taking their time to find their mojo, but you can see they've got the advantage puck now. They're coming across the pool. A little bit of an outside flick there, finding some space and some support. The Aussies are streaming over there to cut this drive down, Nico.
Yeah, look, great switch there from the Kiwi boys, as we would call it here, or a swing play, as everyone else seems to like to call it, even though it's something we coined and invented. They've stolen the name from us there, Stu. But as we see Australia 2-on-1 here, good drive. That looks like Liam Wombat Quinn taking that one, and there's two Aussie players putting a fast drive. Someone's dropped a fin. Numbers streaming forward, but the Kiwi, great steal from the defender there, as Australia's still in a good, strong, dangerous position, but New Zealand trying to clear that out desperately there.
Yeah, flick going in. The Kiwis just getting the knockdown. Someone's actually lost a fin further down the pool. So I think that was one of the New Zealanders, obviously not using a fin keeper. A hazardous spot to lose a fin when you're chasing some opposition players down. You can see it sitting there. Actually, that might have been an Aussie fin. Actually, there you go. There's the coach, Chris Wimman, going to pick that up for his lad there, Nico.
It's actually Steve Dadbod Cleary getting that one as he takes it back to his sub bench. So no harm, no foul. Finn going missing there and halting that Australian run, along with some great defence from New Zealand as we see the puck playing. Good open game to start off with here, Dave. A lot of hard swimming and a lot of moving of the puck. Desperate defending from Mason Gillespie there. That pressure on the corner of the tray. The puck spilled. Dave, this is dangerous for the Australians.
Absolutely. The defence was a bit sluggish getting back there. They better hurry up because here comes a push by the Kiwis. They're all down there. They're flicking it in. They're shoving it in. Got the calls by the referee. It looks like a gloving call against New Zealand. Sort of picked it up on that wall. It's pretty hard for a right-hander to try to shove it, punch it, whatever they were trying to do there down the wall, Nick.
Yeah, that's South African referee Annalise there, one of the 6 female referees we've got here. So fantastic to see a few girls getting into that referee group, Stu.
Yeah, that's right. And really, the Kiwis catching the Aussies sort of napping a little bit. They sort of got a little bit slack with their structure and just let the Kiwis find a fair bit more space than they really wanted them to. And then they were on the back foot the whole way. So, funny old thing, the Aussies went on a nice drive on the other side of the pool all the way to the corner of the tray. And then immediately the Kiwis came on a massive counter-attack. Very lucky Australia to not have the Kiwis score a goal there, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Kiwis have woken up, and as a result of that Finn feeling awful lonely, the Australians were having a bit of a moment of silence for that one, Nick.
Yeah, Wombat Quinn there just taking the puck into his burrow on the wall and shutting the game down for a second as the Australians put a nice switch wide, but Kiwis very quick to cycle across and put pressure on that, Stu.
Yeah, they were. The Aussies got some good movement. It was a very square switch. And that outside halfback of the Australians just sort of got isolated once he got the puck. There was 2 Kiwis on him, and you can see the pressure being applied by the New Zealanders now into the centre channel at the very start of the highway to the danger zone, but denied by that Australian defender. Nice flick going in, straight into the tray on an awesome angle there. You just see how well that Kiwi guy was positioned, number 6 there for New Zealand, Nico.
Yeah, so that's number 6, Guy Roberts, putting that one in as we try desperately for our tech to pull a replay on that, which was an absolutely fantastic flick, bouncing that off the back wall. Arnie Piccoli style there, Stu, on that one.
Yeah, I mean, he really did launch that. Puck, as you could see there on the replay, and we might just show it one more time. It's how impressive it was, and how impressed we are here in the commentary box with that flick.
Guy Roberts really throwing that one in there beautifully. It was a good steal by the Aussie back, but the Kiwis with the numbers behind. And look at that flick, the bounce off the wall there. That is spectacular footage and great play from New Zealand there, Dave.
Absolutely. That was sensational. I put it well out of reach of the defender. I think that was number 5. No, that was number 5 who was trying to defend that, Samuel Orey. But 6 Guy Robinson firing that in lovely. It had an almost majestic as it floating through the air.
He really did get underneath it. I would not be surprised if that was a rocket. If you guys want to buy a rocket from Hydro Underwater Hockey, please go to their underwater hockey website, hydrounderwaterhockey.com, and get your head around their very nice underwater hockey candy they've got on there, Nico.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, Guy getting a lot of props from the Kiwi fans back home. We've got a lot of oh my God, what an amazing flicks going on in the chat there, guys. So I'm sure he'll be grabbing that replay off YouTube and sticking that on his Glory Days wall at home, because that's one to get the Kiwis started, and we'll see if the Australians can respond here, Dave.
Yeah, it looks like the New Zealand had a bit of excessive hugging going on there after that so exciting goal, and they were trying to celebrate, continued right to the face-off of the Australians, take a free puck. Let's see what they can do with it, Stuart.
Yeah, a little bit of a lazy swim in there by Mason, just trying to pick his line, I guess, before he released that flick. Did a reasonable job of finding his lads in the Kiwi structure there before they grabbed that puck and drove it out to this near side wall right underneath their sub-bench. You can see the Aussies just trying to keep possession here under a fair bit of pressure by our number 6 there from Kiwiland, Nico.
Yeah, that's Guy Roberts making a hard effort for the puck, but making some good contact with Mason Gillespie's head there on the way through and just keeping him in check. And he's been pulled up for it. It looks like referee number 24 there, Para from Colombia, pulling that one up. And we've got another free puck here for Australia. We'll see if Mason continues to challenge his channel his dad there as old slow kick Gillespie kicks off on that free puck, Dave.
Yeah, he's certainly channeling his dad with the slow kickness. His dad never was a good one for kicking fast, although he could go and go and go. He sort of reminds me a lot of Stewie there, not so quick, but can go and go and go.
Excuse me? I have I have some serious pace when I want it. Thank you very much.
At the moment, only one leg.
And the Kiwis doing a good job here of keeping some pressure out of their defence as they try and switch it across the goal tray there towards their sub area, and it's worked out nicely for them as they recycle it back into the corridor to their fast-moving forwards. There's some pressure on from Australia, but Kiwis managing to keep that puck and move it to the far side, but it looks like Australia's taking it back, Stu.
Yeah, okay. Well, Stuart has a bit of a cough. That was Mason Lovely trying to steal that puck, and it spoiled the day as Wombat recycles it back to looks like I think that was Bailey. He got that puck, and the Kiwis make another drive, Nick. Yeah,
that's a big hit from the Kiwi player coming off the bench there, and Debbie Gillespie chiming in on the chat with a bit of laugh out loud as we bag Mike out for his no breath hold bouncing up and down approach to the fullback position. Obviously a lot of contention for who's been the greatest Australian fullback, but that's a conversation for another time as we see Australia pushed back into their defensive 5 metres here, Dave, and a good opportunity for the Kiwis to put some pressure on the Aussie tray.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're going to. I don't know what they're going to set up, but it looks like they're all behind the puck with maybe a one floater into the side. They have a number of set plays that they like to run as the Australians' defence picks it up, but the Kiwis come back to counters as Mason takes it in the corner to regroup the defence as they try to bring it out there, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. The Aussies under a bit of pressure by the Kiwis here. They were dictating the play about a minute ago further up the pool, but the Kiwis doing a good job of driving that puck down the pool progressively, maintaining a fair bit of pressure on the Aussies, and it's going to be interesting to see what the Aussies can come up with and where they take this puck to get out of this defensive area there, Nick.
Yeah, as the Aussies get some numbers down, but the Kiwis quick to take possession and switch it around, but we've got French referee Alex, nice stick infringement signal there. He's very calm and relaxed in his signalling. I think it's important with the referee to show that command presence with the calm signalling. Obviously, it'd be better if he was sporting a fantastic beard like Phil the Wookie Hickey, but he doesn't have that raccoon status as we see Australia with a free puck here. Mason Gillespie again on the puck, taking it forward and chipping it through to the number 10 there, Roy Trumbull, who earlier in the comp caught blowing kisses to the camera. So whether that's going to help Roy in this game, I'm not sure, Stu.
Look, it's always nice to see a little bit of love going out there to everyone around the world, and obviously Roy doesn't mind, just sort of going overt instead of covert with the love for people. So fair enough, but it's probably not going to help him in this game. As you can see, a nice drive going down the near side wall, right underneath the Kiwis sub bench. Kiwis coming back, the Aussies getting in there, breaking it up and flicking into the central channel there, Dave.
Yeah, unfortunately that was a flick to into the danger zone, but no one was there receiving that pass except for a bunch of Kiwis making a drive out, Nico.
Yeah, look, obviously if you're going to put it in the danger zone, you've got to be willing to put the rubber on the road on the highway out of there. As we see the Kiwis with a great push up into the defensive Australian 6 metre D as the puck is cleared out, but we've got an infringement on the surface. Referee Alex there again busy in this game. Luckily he had a good feed last night. Thanks to CMAS for their support of the referees here and paying for dinner last night. A fabulous feast here at a local Hobart pub, taking in some of the sights that Hobart's got to offer, Stu.
Yeah, it was delicious. I had myself a little very nice large chicken parmigiana with some thick cut chips, I'll have you know. And as this play continues, the Aussies taking an advantage puck. Again, trying to find some space, but a big energetic swim there by the Kiwi lad on the right-hand side. A flick goes out, managing to find an off the bottom Kiwi lad, so the Aussies with a better bottom position managed to dictate that puck as the Kiwis go for another switch here, Dave.
Yeah, it's. I think the passes are starting to pass, not eliminate that the other opposition, and they're not here. So we got a lovely drive, and he just got crunched on that one, and that's just hockey. And we see the Kiwis trying to gain control. No one's really gotten full control of the puck at any time. It just sort of bobbles back and forth, Nico.
Yeah, look, I've got to, as we see the New Zealanders making a fast break down the four-way, the far side of the pool there. But props to both teams playing a beautiful brand of hockey at the moment. A lot of flicking and passing, a lot of open swimming, and the clear water and the extra cameras really letting us have a good idea of what's going on in there today, Stu.
It is. It's good coverage. You can see that flick coming in on a dangerous 45 angle. The Kiwi lad really doing a good job of picking it up on a nice curl, putting a lot of pressure on the Aussie defence. They're struggling to get good bottom position. It's in the tray, comes back out. It's going to be interesting to see if the refs have seen it. I'd be very surprised if they didn't. Referee, I think Annalise saying, yep, that's a goal for New Zealand. So they go 2-0 up with only 2 and a bit minutes to go in this first half there. We're just waiting to see what number. That was number 2 for Kiwi.
Yeah, that's James Ramsbottom putting that one in as my tech looks for the replay here to jump up on the screen. And good hard-fought goal. Impressive second and third effort from that initial drive there, Stu, as the Kiwi player putting that pressure on the puck. And Coach Sam Cooper there for the NZ under-19 boys. He'll be happy with how they're going, and he's just called a timeout here with 2 minutes 15 remaining in this half, Dave, to obviously regather the boys, and they'll be pretty happy with where they are right now.
They are. It's end-to-end action, but I can say that the Kiwis, in terms of my brain, is sort of calculating they have a lot more percentage with the puck. They actually have more control of the puck. The Australians are, once they get it, they're actually throwing it to hard passes, and what I mean by that is that they're not in a good position to get a pass. They're rather in front of the opposition or not behind it, and that pass is being knocked down. They have to fight for it. I'd like to see them do more of passing, opening, and working closer together, tighten up a little bit so they actually can drive together as a unit, Nick.
Yeah, look, no, I completely agree. I think for me, Stu, the big difference, both teams trying to play very similar brands, but at the moment, Kiwis, their pass execution and their completion on their passes probably at a higher percentage, which is what's giving them the edge.
Yeah, I agree. Aussies playing pretty well, but then at the same time, I just don't think that they're extending the movement of the puck where it really needs to go for them. I think the Kiwis are doing a good job of cutting it down once the Australians start to move it, and then just sort of recycling it and dictating the place the puck is taken basically more often. So for me, that's the difference. And funny old thing, when you do that more, then you can dictate where the puck goes at the end of that movement. And so the Kiwis are 2 goals up now with just over a minute and a half remaining in this half.
Yeah, as we see Rob Tinkler weighing in on the chat with an opinion on the referees. No surprises there, Stu, but I think Rob getting a little upset about the Aussie player scooping it out of the tray, but if we look back at the footage, he scooped it out but then hasn't played on with it, so I think it was just a movement of trying to defend. He's knocked it out, he's left it there, so no harm, no foul, and New Zealand put another one on the board as we see them getting that puck into that corridor and looking dangerous again, Dave.
Yeah, they are. They, as you both alluded to, there's just the puck control in the lateral times once they gain control, and the Australians seem to be streaming down in ones. One will take the drive. You got one support, but that's just not going to crack it today, Nick.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is a game that's going to be won with 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s, Stu.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the other thing to remember about that unsportsmanlike stuff is we spoke about this earlier on in the competition. Sometimes the puck goes in, bounces back out, and it's not 100% sure for the referees to say that player who plays on has actually seen it go in the tray. So it's very hard to call an unsportsmanlike as the Kiwis go on a big drive in numbers all the way to the tray there. And the referees are confirming, but I believe that's going to be goal number 3 for New Zealand. Just waiting on the number as we see all those lads swim back. So it looks like it's number 13 there for New Zealand, Nico.
Yeah, Cameron Manuel Arnold putting that one in, and with 20 seconds left in the half, that's a great result there. Sam's timeout working for his boys, and they've put a third goal in. So impressive start here in this first half for New Zealand, Dave.
Absolutely, and I think that that timeout, the big difference I saw after the timeout was the Kiwis were going down in surely numbers, and the Australians were caught napping. They're slow to get down to the bottom, not getting good, strong position, and that goal was simply put in because the back line wasn't in position.
Yeah, and full credit to the Kiwis there. Great drive to put that one in, so well done to those boys. As we go into half-time here, 3 minutes for the teams to recover, recoup, revitalise and re-inspire. Obviously an important time for the coaches, Stu. This is when the command presence of a beard often comes into play, and we see Sam Cooper definitely winning the facial raccoon stakes in the coaches' battle here. Yeah,
he does have some serious facial raccoonery going on, and it's good to see some leadership and command presence displayed by that hairy face of Sam. Obviously, Steve Cleary, just not able to compete with him in those facial raccoonery stakes. But as you can see here, he's getting around his lads, and he's certainly giving them as much advice and sort of making them focus. Obviously, very important with only 15 minutes remaining that this team really tries to get their act together. 3 goals down, it's going to be a tough ask for the Aussies to come back from here. Certainly not impossible, but they're certainly going to have to show us something a little bit different in the second half there, Dave.
Yeah, but I'd say the Australian teams have opted to leave the hairy one, Jumpy, out there on the side. He can't come into the court because that's the rule, and he's toting it from that side. But they've opted for the clean, lean approach there, guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's not go looking about who's sitting on the side, because the Kiwi assistant coach, Ed, he is without a doubt the hairiest man at the pool. And if he comes in, then the command presence New Zealand's got is really going to blow this Australian team out of the water. But we see the game ready to start here. The other thing I'd like to comment on, we've got just over a minute left. Sam Cooper opting again for the camo wetsuit. It's an interesting decision there, whether he's trying to get some extra movement into the court and hopefully not get seen, or hiding on the bottom away there, Stu.
Yeah, maybe he's just one of those guys that just likes to roll a little bit military. Who knows? But either way, it's certainly keeping him nice and snug, nice and warm, and he's got his sleeveless approach as well. So not only is it cam, but it's also free. So I like the fact that he's rocking that little bit of a different vibe.
Yeah, as we see, check in with the chat, we've got Lee Chamberlain thanking us for our camera work, and Andy Pride there, great pressure and control from NZ. And then finally, the binary Badger 10101, weighing in with finish your plays Aussies, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what it's all about. You have to actually fully commit. If you're going to drive to the goal and you're going to do it in your units, you got to go together and you got to keep fully 100% commit behind that. And I think that's what the New Zealanders have been doing. As we're getting some shout-outs from our fans for you, Nick, right there in our front there.
Yeah, that's my nephew there waving away in the window, Dave, and he's pretty excited. And it's been great to see the families and young kids coming down and getting around underwater hockey here at the Doon Kennedy Hobart Aquatic Centre at what is a great Hobart City Council facility as we get underway here. The second half, the Aussies a lot of work to do, and the Kiwis with their noses in front at the moment, Stu.
Yeah, they really do have their noses in front. You can see the Kiwis again putting a fair bit of pressure on the Aussies. The Aussies doing a good job this time driving out this their right-hand near side area. Luke Sutcliffe going on that good run. Back into the centre channel in numbers, the Australians, as they're going on a nice drive all the way to the tray. It's going to be interesting to see if that's actually called a goal. I think it sort of went into the tray, but not all of the puck was in there. It was sort of lying on a 45. That typical sort of nightmare situation that all of us players know. Unless it goes all the way in, it's certainly not a goal there, Nico.
Yeah, look, that's young Isaac Bridley, son of Razor Bridley, an Australian great there, making that swim and just misjudging that flick slightly. Looking at the angle and the camera, from what I saw, it bounced outside of the play area and has actually hit the back wall next to the goal volume, and so unlucky. He's misjudged that by about 2 or 3 degrees, but that's the difference in this finals hockey, Dave. If you're out by 1 or 2 degrees or 1 or 2%, that can be the difference between winning and losing. Yeah,
absolutely. That was a opportunity gone missed. He tried to follow it up, but the Kiwis are a lot quicker than he was. Just to sprint to that puck. I'm an avid for, that was a risky to flick it, but, that's the choices you make. I'd rather see him have swum that straight into the goal tray, but in my opinion. But I'll leave that one for later. It's over. The referees were right on top of it, and they saw exactly that it didn't go in.
Yeah, look, great play from young Isaac. I think let's not put it all down to him. There's 6 players in the water there, and really he should have had some support coming in to back him up. As my apologies to Leah Chamberlain, who I've been calling Lee Chamberlain. It's actually Leah, so my apologies for my poor Kiwi pronunciation there. As we see a foul being signalled from Annalise, South African. And I think we've got a replay here from this goal shot that we're just going to show in. And we'll see if we can get a better idea of where that puck did hit. As it's an advantage puck for Australia in the mid-court.
Yeah, you can see the Aussies setting up here. Kiwis very quick to come at that puck as the Aussies on a nice little right-hand 90-degree flick out to the near side wall on a pressured drive. Now they're driving a 45 in numbers, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can keep this puck and maintain this pressure. The Kiwis have proven very good at breaking down the Australian drives, if not before, at the last part of the drive the Aussies have got right in the middle of the highway to the danger zone. So obviously Isaac Bridley getting very close to scoring a goal there for the Aussies, but unsuccessful. We're just trying to get the replay going. We'll show that in a sec. But
yeah, we did get the replay up there, Stu, and as we saw, they're just hitting onto the goal mouth there and sitting on the lip and not making it across. So as we thought, just out by a couple of degrees. As NZ pushing that one back into their defensive corner and holding it up there. And now a quick drive out and looking to move it into the centre corridor. We've got a signal from the referees here. It's referee Parra from Colombia. Plan advantage for a stick infringement against New Zealand there, Dave.
Yeah, this is another opportunity for the Australians, and again, I'd like to see their support around them. But if you see when the Australian players are driving in, you got too many New Zealanders around. Their support is always behind, and they need to get some of that support, next to them, and so you can actually support those drives, Nick.
Yeah, look, the Kiwis definitely winning the numbers game in terms of bodies on the bottom at the moment, and Leah Chamberlain weighing in and saying she's getting used to the dulcet tones of the Australians there, Stu. So we're doing a lot for Trans-Tasman relationships here in the commentary booth.
Yeah, look, I'm not surprised. Obviously, they're pretty dulcet tones going down range here on the live stream as the Kiwis pick the puck up and go on a nice 45 outside swim here, releasing the pressure out of their defensive area and just giving a little bit of ground at the end of that swim to maintain possession. The Aussies have got the puck at the moment and they're on the counter-attack there, Dave.
Yeah, but you can see the New Zealand strong defense and the support is sitting beside. And G almost snuck through for one there. And as we see them move it to their traditional corners where they can regroup, regather, and then start the drive. It's interesting to note that a couple of the last clearances by the New Zealanders have been good 45s out of their end, and instead of driving up the wall. And just as I speak, they try to drive it up the wall. That's just they must be listening to the broadcast, Nick.
Yeah, look, Wombat a bit slow out of his burrow on that one. Couldn't quite take possession of the puck as Leah Chamberlain banging in again there with definitely landing on the corner of the bun and not going in. As we've got a fast break here. Kiwi fast mover going. We've got an Australian player coming over the top. Great curl and second effort from the New Zealand player there. That's fantastic endurance there, Stu.
Yeah, it was a very good swim by the Kiwi lad, right down the middle of the centre channel, but very well cut down or swum down and then cut down by Mason Gillespie as the Kiwis push all the way to the tray. And unfortunately for the Aussies, that's going to be goal number 4 for New Zealand. That's confirmed by the refs. Just waiting for the number. So really, really good counter-attack there by the Kiwis there, Nico.
Yeah, that's NZ number 8, William Heaps, heaping the pressure on there and putting one in the tray.
Yeah, that's it, heaping the pressure. I like that. Timeout for Australia as Steve Cleary swims into his lads. He's really going to have to put the fire in these guys' bellies with just under 10 minutes to go in this second half. The Aussies are going to have to come up with some seriously special Australian brand of hockey to peg these 4 goals back there, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. I really enjoying this game because it's open. It's not really contained as some of the games we saw earlier with the New Zealand boys against some of the other countries like France and Great Britain, where they actually play that middle channel. This sort of game has been playing nice and open. The Kiwis are taking lots of good risks for the 45s in the pool. They drive down the wall and they're spreading the Australian defence, and as we saw there, call them napping.
Cool, and my tech here is just going to quickly replay this break for you. Fantastic swimming from this Kiwi forward to recycle that and go the second effort and swim out of that curl. It shows great presence and endurance on the bottom, so well done to New Zealand. Body language says a lot when you're looking at the players here, and for me at the moment, the Kiwi boys definitely with their heads up and looking up and about there, Stu, whereas it just seems a little flat from the Australians, and Steve Cleary calling that time out to obviously try and razz the boys up a bit.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you can see the Kiwis again swimming out with purpose. Aussie lads have been playing well, but they just really haven't been able to establish the kind of deep attack pressure that the Kiwis have managed here. So it looks to me like they're calling Mason for a breaking there, which is interesting because he's the fullback for the Aussies. So, yeah, okay. Anyway, so the Kiwis will get an advantage puck here. The Australians getting pushed back and... yeah, I mean the Aussies are really it's now or never basically, Dave.
Yeah, no, they got to pull something out. It's like they got to get it happening, and I haven't seen anything yet from the sort of the connectivity of the puck. We see good control when they get it, but I'm not seeing any connectivity when they sort of drive, and that's really what they need to do. You can see the difference in when the New Zealand get the puck and they drive forward, Nick.
Yeah, look, for me, it's definitely just a little bit more conviction from the Kiwis at the moment, which is giving them the edge, as well as just a little bit crisper execution as the commentator's curse hits me there in Australia, make a fast drive, a flick in, but trying to flick it straight through the New Zealand player there, which is just never going to work, Stu.
Yeah, I mean, he launched that flick because he was sort of a little bit surrounded by the Kiwis, but what he really needed to do was just maintain possession and go on a slow, deliberate drive towards where his support was coming. As soon as he released that flick, he just lost the advantage, particularly once they'd knocked it down. As you can see, the Kiwis on an immediate counter-attack here, sliding it out to the right-hand side, met there by the Australian defenders. The Aussies doing a good job at the moment of controlling that drive, but Kiwis getting an advantage puck for a stick infringement against Australia, Dave.
Yes, another opportunities for the Kiwis. We'll see what sort of formation they have. They're sort of sending one person up. The call is looked like goose egg, looked like the little bunny. So they're all behind the puck. They're going to move it in as a group. 45 it straight at the goal tray, Nick.
Yeah, so we get the Aussies down nice and early there and setting up that wall, looking to sweep that puck out. But New Zealand keeping it in the highway to the danger zone as we've got number 1, Mason Gillespie, the captain there, channeling his father and sweeping that one wide. It's a pretty lazy tackle there from the number 4 from Australia, which is Thomas Marsh. Just probably coming in with a bit much glove for my liking. He just needs to make sure they keep taking possession. But at the moment, Stu, it's definitely the Kiwis who are executing their passes better.
Yeah, I like the defensive work done by Mason right up until the point where he flicked that puck, but he didn't follow it. And he really needs to just follow that puck out and get the rotation defensively happening behind him. Stagnating there obviously meant that everyone that was behind him had to stagnate too as he flicks the puck over to the far wall or towards his left half. Getting caught in the centre channel there by a lot of Kiwis, and again, the Kiwis putting a lot of pressure on this Australian team there, Dave.
Yeah, definitely has to channel more of his dad. His dad is a flicker, but he always backs it up. And we saw that second flick that he made. He sort of flicked it wide, put his halfback under a bit of pressure, and he just went straight up. So needs to get more better flicks earlier to his halfbacks are in a better position, but he also, more importantly, needs to back him up.
Yeah, and good pick up there, and nice fast drive here from the Kiwi players as we see again that ability for them to just keep possession of that puck and curl and recycle it. But lovely sandwich handed out by the Australian halfback there, taking that one to the far wall. As we see a bit of a drive from the Australians in response here, Stu, but the Kiwis again getting possession and flicking it out wide on that switch.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the Kiwis gained possession because the Aussies actually flicked it forward or if they just sort of did a steal, but either way they got the puck. Now the Aussies have got it back and they established a nice little swing here. I think that's Wombat on the far side going on a nice drive. Unfortunately, just getting it right inside the 3-metre tray and at the gravy stroke, right at the very end of the highway to the danger zone, just losing that puck. And Kiwis just sort of again controlling this possession game here, Nico.
Yeah, look, he's pulled the lever on the bus and has just jumped off at the last stop rather than riding it back to the station. As we see the New Zealand respond with a huge swim here. Look at that, 2 Kiwis in front, great swim away. That's New Zealand, number 6 and number 13, and that's Guy Roberts again, I think, streaming that one into the end there. So Guy, not only does he have the fantastic eagle-soaring flick goal from earlier in the game, he's backed it up with a second one there with a massive breakaway, Dave.
Yeah, and the only one who was coming close to catch him was his support player, and that was number 3, Cameron Manuel Arnold, adopting a very streamlined approach. Must be a New Zealand swimmer from a long way back with his technique, was almost near perfection. He was accelerating past him. That was a lovely goal.
You can see him finning there with his amazing Najades fins speed, finning at a rate of knots, very high RPM as this game continues. Kiwis hitting that puck, winning that strike and driving out to the right-hand side of the far court there, Nico.
Yeah, and the Kiwis definitely, that 5th goal, asserting their dominance on this game and what has been a very well-executed performance from Sam Cooper and his boys. 4.5 minutes to go. It's not impossible for the Australians, but incredibly unlikely at this stage, short of some kind of amazing jump in intensity and some minor miracle. But certainly they will fight this out to the end and keep that Aussie spirit going as we see them pull a nice 45 into the centre of the pool. But once again, it's just that final pass and execution that's letting them down, Dave. The Kiwis able to find a teammate, and the Australians just a lot of loose passes in there.
Yeah, lovely drive by Jack Hobson's there, but again, his support players were too far behind him, out of position. The only support player was the one directly behind him, and that's been a constant obsolescence from the Australians as they're making a drive in their free puck. And again, you see they're just one there, the one off far too deep, and that's a halfback. And kudos to the Australians there. They're pressing up because they need a goal, and that's causing the back line to flatten up a bit there, Nico.
Yeah, look, the Australian off half there, just getting in and sweeping that one to the side, luckily for them. But once again, another just exhibition of strong, fast swimming there in the open space, Stu. Yeah,
the Kiwis really are starting to put on a show at the moment. They're soaking up a lot of soaking up a lot of attacking pressure every now and again by the Aussies. As you can see, the Kiwis getting driven back down the wall by the Australians here on a nice second and third effort swing by this right-hand winger for the Aussies. But again, the Kiwis pick the puck up. They're probably going to get a couple of big subs in now, some fresh legs in as the buzzer goes. So, counter-attack occurring as usual in this game. 3 minutes and 10 seconds remaining as we look at the live chat. Hannah Kerwood saying, let's go Kiwis. Anna Pride saying, nice. Shane Blake getting involved and saying yes. And Leah Chamberlain, a fixture watching this game. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. If you like the stream, if you like the games and the championship, please jump on to gofundme.com/Hobart 2017 and drop a couple of dollars in the donation tin. That'd be much appreciated and support junior hockey development there, Nico.
Yeah, look, we're 50% of the way to our target of covering the costs of some of this amazing volunteer streaming that we've put on. Obviously, all that money going directly into developing junior underwater hockey and to help cover the costs here, as we're just trying to find the replay from that missed Australian goal towards the end there, as it's a good exhibition of the difference between these two teams at the moment, where the Kiwis finding those second and third efforts and making sure they complete those drives, but the Aussies just lacking a bit of conviction in this game, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see at that timeout that was called by New Zealand, the New Zealand boys were gathering, supporting each other. And if you look over to the Australian bench, heads are down. Boys, don't put your heads down. Get back in there and let's see if you can pot one. Work together and see if you can pot one in there.
Stu, obviously you've played quite a few finals in your time. What kind of message are you giving to your players, and as a coach, what kind of things are you looking for to help you get through the last 3 minutes of a game when you clearly can't come back for a victory?
Look, I mean, in the end, they've just got to swim this game out. Like Dave said, they've just got to keep their heads up, and they've got to basically put the 5-goal deficit that they're playing under out of their minds for this next, 2 minutes and 35 seconds. It's one of those things. To be an elite competitor, you really have to be able to focus on the game at hand and don't worry about what the scoreline is until that final buzzer goes. And in that way, you represent your country as best you can, Nico.
Yeah, and we've got Kim Galbraith chiming in on the chat. Kiwis, you've done yourselves and your country proud. And look, I couldn't agree more, Kim. It's been a great exhibition of conviction and a well-oiled execution of a plan in this game for them, Dave.
Yeah, that's very true, Nico. As we see the play being called up again, and it's been called against New Zealand. Yeah, it has been a well execution. I'm sure they're very disappointed they weren't in the gold medal match, but they're in the bronze medal match. They'll come away with a bronze medal against the Australian team. The Australian team, they started off pretty slow at the comp, and suffered a few things. No excuses, but I must say they've come back. They bounced back from those early setbacks, and I'm pretty proud of these boys of where they come from, and just to be in this bronze medal match, they should be pretty proud of that. Unfortunately, not their way today.
Yeah, no, look, they've definitely they've played proudly for their country as well, as we see them driving here for hopefully to put in a consolation goal, and that looks like number 7, Hunter Jones from WA, in behind that one, and everyone's piling on the tray, but once again, New Zealand with the numbers and able to sweep that one wide and take it out to the side there. So great defence from New Zealand. Stu, we see the Kiwis making a drive down the far wall.
Yeah, they're coming on a nice counter-attack again. The Aussies on a good press on the attacking tray for them. Unfortunately, they just didn't have it fall to the park. And as Nico said, Kiwis managing to get into some really good defensive bottom positions right in their deep defence as the Aussies get the puck back and contest this play on that far side wall. I agree with what Dave said. The Australian lads definitely have played, with their hearts and put everything in the pool, which is certainly what you want. In the end, as we see the last 50 seconds of this game tick down, there's got to be a winner, there's got to be a loser, and it's not all about winning and losing. It's certainly about the journey, to not sound too cliched there, lads.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The journey is very important here in the final countdown of this highway to the danger zone from the Kiwi boys, where their strong swimming has really led them to what's going to be a well-earned 5-0 victory. I think the other thing obviously to remember is just the quality of the development process and program in New Zealand underwater hockey, and the numbers they've got to choose from, making this a really solid effort from the Australians against what really is a much larger pool of players that they have to choose from in New Zealand, and they've shown that here with their execution, Dave, as we see Isaac Lightning Rod Bridley picking that one up and making a fast break to the far side as we count down the last few seconds to the end of this bronze medal match, and it's New Zealand getting over Australia to take out the bronze medal in the under-19 men's division here at the 4th CMAS Age Group World Underwater Hockey Championships, Dave.
Yeah, and as we see the crowd of New Zealanders here, as it's pretty much even Steven, the number of New Zealanders that traveled over here, take the time off work to come here and support the lads, and I'm sure they're really appreciative. And again, if we see the Australian crowds, everyone's here, the local people are here cheering their local boys, and all the people back home. It was an excellent game of hockey, open style hockey, but New Zealand much stronger today for our Australian boys too.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Well done to the Kiwis for a very fine display of quality New Zealand under-19 hockey there. Commiserations to the Aussie lads. They really did have a crack at the Kiwi team. They looked pretty dangerous in the first 10 minutes, but then essentially outplayed by this very strong New Zealand unit there, Nico.
Yeah, look, for me, actually, Stu, it's probably one of the best games I've watched all tournament, to be honest. I think both teams really committed to playing really open hockey in the open court there, and a lot of good passing, hard swimming, which made for great watching. And at the end, funny old thing, it's finals hockey, and the team with the most conviction that can execute their plan the best wins the game, and today that was the Kiwis by a clear margin, 5-0, Stu.
Yep, exactly. As you can see, the lads doing their good sportsman-like stuff and shaking each other's hands, giving each other a pat on the back for a tournament well played. Even a little bit of coach love going on there, which is always good to see. And just looking at the live chat, Jeremy Webster saying, great work, boys. Leah Chamberlain saying yes to the lads and saying she's so proud. And Nick in Z84 saying great stuff, New Zealand. So thank you very much, guys, for tuning in there, Nico.
Yeah, I think that's Leah getting behind the NZ number 13, Cameron Manuel Arnold. You've got a pick in there for MVP. I mean, we saw the big flick from
Dave
Guy
Lambert
Roberts
here,
and the
poolside,
great breakaway goal. As we go to Dave on the pool deck here, actually, I'll cut us off, and he's got the Australian captain, Mason Gillespie. Dave, over to you.
Yeah, join poolside here with Mason Gillespie. Mason, sorry about the loss. Very well, a valiant effort in there, mate.
Yeah, look, they came out real hard. I don't know. It was just a real hard-fought game from them, and well done.
Yeah, look, I know there's disappointment in there, but you guys struggled at the beginning of the comp. You guys should be pretty proud of what you did in that in the F to get into the bronze medal game. So well done to the boys and yourself. Any shout-outs to the folks back home? I know your mom's been watching on stream. I'm sure your dad's sitting beside her. Probably can't drive the computer as much, but well done in there. Yeah,
thanks. No, look, really good for support from everyone from anywhere. Throughout when we've been sick, they've always sent their wishes, and I'd like to thank everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, well, from the commentary team in there, send the congratulations to the boys, because we enjoyed watching that nice open hockey. The Kiwis just a bit better to you today, but I'm sure you guys will recover and bounce back from that one.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, man. We'll try to here we go.
And joining me here is the New Zealand under-19 coach, Sam Cooper. Sam, must be proud of you boys.
Yeah, good to see them get up today after a valiant effort yesterday against the GB team, and big up to the Aussie boys. Great tournament from them. So.
Yeah, look, it was a really exciting game for us to watch, not only because the pool's looking so clear this morning, but both teams electing to play the space, flick it around and swim hard, and you must be proud of the execution in there from the boys with their passing. I don't think I saw them miss a pass completion in there today.
Yeah, I was really excited when Aussie started moving it within the first minute or two as well. It was a great game, nice and open, just what we asked for, great finish to the tournament for us, and really enjoyed it.
And there's definitely a lot of action in the chat, mate, people supporting you. Obviously, one of the contentious issues for this tournament has been the beards, and your command presence in there with the beard, do you think that's helping with the coaching?
Yeah, it's had a bit of a trim after the loss to France, and I was hoping, that was our ride back into the final, but didn't get us quite there at the end of it, but yeah, no, it was good.
And obviously you've got Ed helping you out there in the hair front. He's definitely one of the hairiest coaches here, adding to the command presence from the side.
Yeah, it's a definitely intimidating factor when you see a man like that walking along the side of the pool, but no, yeah, it's good having him there.
And a message for all the Kiwi supporters back home, mate. There's lots of them here on the side of the pool, but also a heap back home.
Yeah, thanks to all the supporters. My mum, my dad, my family watching. Thanks very much, guys, and everyone else at home. Awesome.
Yeah, well done, Sam. Congratulations on the bronze medal. It's been a long journey for you as a coach. I've watched you over the last 5 or 6 years. So, look, well done, mate. A credit to yourself and the boys today in a fantastic result.
Thanks, Nick, and a great tournament, and we've enjoyed ourselves so thoroughly here. Cheers, Nick.
No worries. I'll see you tonight at the party. And that's all from Court 1 here, guys. Great victory to the New Zealand players there as we get ready for the next game.